Hello, everybody, and look, I'm with my two best friends right over here. See, isn't it such a funny joke? He's always really funny. I really appreciate him. Anyways, yes, I'm still a little bit sick from yesterday, but still thought it'd be a great idea to record and get some content in. This is kind of a sequel to yesterday's video, so you know what? If you have not seen it, yeah, you need to go back and watch it. One, because I said so. Two, just because it is in preparation for my San Antonio team. In all honesty, you don't really need to watch the other video. It's more just along the lines of kind of going off of the same idea. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to be bringing pretty much my team from the local I ended up kind of competing in. So pretty much we've got Iron Hands, Roaring Moon, we've got Farigarath, Enamorus, Ogerpon, and this time I'm going to be switching out this slot for Amoonguss. I really think that this Pokemon really just needs to be a supportive pivot that can kind of help with setups, so either something with Haze or Clear Smog. So we're going to just try this out. We're going to go through the ladder and really try to essentially just see how high we can climb with it. I don't know where I'm at. Yeah. I practice a lot on ladder with like really wacky ideas just so that I can kind of like get more comfortable with the I don't know, the team that I'm wanting to build, the team that I'm wanting to kind of utilize ideas that I have that I might want to keep hidden. I normally just go on ladder just so I can kind of figure out these ideas. And ladder gives you some pretty good ideas for like what your opponents bring too, so in this one, I am going to go with my hard Trick Room mode. As I said, I'm kind of just going straight into this. Didn't really go over the team or anything. But, I mean, essentially speaking, the main objective of this team is if you see a really fast team or a moderately fast team, you immediately just take advantage of your Trick Room and just kind of go in from there. I can see right now what he's probably wanting to go for is trying to set up his contrary Enamorus. While I'm just going to use my Choice Specs one to run through him. So, I think Roaring Moon is going to be my best fourth option because a lot of the time what I'm preparing for is essentially speaking, I've got my first bit where my main set of offense is going to be my Trick Room. Once that ends, however, I would like a fast Pokemon to be able to outspeed things and be able to initially take over. And that's pretty much the idea with this team. It's very straightforward, pretty simple, because honestly, Farigarath gives you pretty much a guaranteed Trick Room, so it's a really nice Pokemon to use. Alright. Let's see if Frog the Jam has got anything for me. It's going to be just a video of wins. But in all honesty, this video is more along the lines of like trying to see like if I need any more offense for the team or if the support position is something that I need to fulfill. So this was the lead I was anticipating. I'm going to just fake out Thundurus so he can't set up his Enamorus. And then we're just going to go from there. Get my Trick Room going. Get tricky with it. And even if Enamorus for some reason has Taunt, we're still fine. I have Roaring Moon in the back, so I'm not super scared, and Heavy Slam should just one-shot Enamorus. So. It is a special Enamorus. Okay. That did a lot of damage. So he's just going for Eerie Impulses. Okay. That's fine. Looks like that's Specs, in all honesty. So I'd assume that he's going to just be like... I'm going to do Dazzling Gleam just so I can get a little bit of damage on Thundurus and do a little to Enamorus. I'm assuming it's Terra Fairy. So if it is a defensive Terra, though, that's perfectly fine. I have my Enamorus just come in and pretty much sweep. So it's a Steel Terra. It's a little unfortunate, but that's okay. So it's a Spexed Steel Terra. Okay. There we go. We're both going down here, but... Oh, that Heavy Slam would have easily killed it, though. Okay. I mean, I'm probably just going to lose this one just because I didn't see the defensive Terra coming, but, you know, best of one. Even if he goes for Eerie Impulse into my Enamorus, the thing is my Enamorus does so much damage. I just kind of have to make sure, like, what I'm wanting to do. I think what I want to do is I just want to go for the regular Earth Power into this Enamorus. Let's just make sure. Earth Power will be fine. Because if this doesn't kill the Enamorus anyways, I'm going to lose. So, but I'm pretty sure it should get pretty close. Oh yeah, we're good. My Trick Room makes this a little awkward, but it's definitely something, you know, we can come back from for sure, so. He can just keep nerfing my Enamorus. The big thing that I really need to make sure of is that I'm utilizing my Roaring Moon to its, like, biggest potential, so. How many turns of Trick Room do I have left? I have 2. Perfect. So I think actually just going for an attack here might be my best bet. Like getting rid of like Sinistra. Because I mean really Medusa's not going to be doing too much after these Eerie Impulses. Oh, that's just annoying. But, I mean, either way, I was going to get to a -1 anyways. Let's see what his item is. It is the Leftovers. Okay, well, glad I knocked those off. Then we'll just go for Protect. The hardest part is going to be getting rid of him, but I'm really not going to stress too much about it because there's really not much I can do. Big damage. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. No, I'm not letting you do any more of that shenanigans. Alright. Just keep spamming Earth Power. I still have not seen the Thundurus being too much of a threat. So, getting Hospitality boosts is kind of annoying. I should have gone for Breaking Swipe. That's okay, though. Perfect. You miss. Nice. See? Just have to talk it into existence. Dude, that's still... I'm at -6. Oh, man. The power. That is insane. I'm at -6. Oh my gosh. That is just incredible. That's fine. I really don't know how I'm getting through Thundurus, to be honest. Okay. He's reading me pretty well. See how well we take a Wild Bolt Storm. Let's see. Not well at all. It's not good. Okay. I think just spamming Earth Power is my best play. I really don't know if I'm going to be able to get through the Thundurus. Like, I truly don't know. I'm going to just go for Knockoff. It gets him. So, we're doing good. Avoided Enamorus. Look at it go. Yeah, no paralysis either. Yeah. That's That's what I'm talking about. So he saw that I could go for Protect. I'm going to predict... I mean, he has no reason not to just go for Fake Out here in Wild Bolt. Like, he really doesn't. Like, it's like, oh, well, I predicted it. It's like, there's really no reason for him to predict. Like I'm saying, I don't necessarily understand. This is definitely a loss. But, okay, so he has a few options. I would just go for Drain Punch here. So I'm just going to go for Breaking Swipe and Terra Flying. We're going to avoid all the Wild Bolt Storms. All of them will be avoided. We're definitely losing this one. But it was just because I didn't really think about the defensive Terra on Enamorus. Huh. No, I don't like him having high attack, so it's going back down. No. Good. Oh. That's unfortunate. So we're pretty much banking on misses and crits. Dang, that still does so much damage. So we pretty much need a crit. I don't think I'm getting it. But you know what? We gotta believe in magic sometimes. Here comes the magic. You think you can get me? Here's the critical hit. Oh. Dang. Well. He's like, yeah, you going down. I'm like, yeah, I am. That's okay. Hey, you know what? I'm not upset at it because I played it just like I would play my best of 3, and that's what we're looking for. In all honesty, Amoonguss wouldn't have really helped us there, but Amoonguss was not the answer, like, at all anyways. My team honestly would have won that if I would have saw the Terra. So, there's really no reason to harp on losses like that, especially if you're, newer, too. Never get upset at yourself because of those types of losses. They will always be there. Huh. I mean, Trick Room is definitely going up. The question is who my backline is going to be. I think it needs to be Roaring Moon. Because what Roaring Moon will do is, as long as I get the other Roaring Moon, you can't make Ogerpon faster, even with the Terra, unless you're Choice Scarfed. So, and I am not going to bait on a Choice Scarfed. Like, why would you Choice Scarf something like Ogerpon? There's no reason to. Alright. Roaring Moon Golden-Go. Little spooky. That's okay. Going for Fake Out just guarantees I can get my Trick Room up safely. So, the only big problem is like, what I could do is I could just Wild Charge just because he could try to set himself up, his Golden-Go. So, yeah, I thought this would happen. That's okay. The only way I'm, like, immediately dying is if he's, like, a Specs Golden-Go, though. Yep, and that's what I thought. That's why we do not worry about that kind of stuff. And we just hit hard. In all honesty, the Terra from Farigiraf looks so nice right now. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go for. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go for. Because, like, I know Enamorous' Terra could be really important, but if he decides to Terra Dragon, like all of these have been doing lately, it's like we're pretty much saving ourselves right there, so. And do keep in mind, instead of this one being modest, this one's actually bold max defense. That's why I took that so well. So. Yep, thought so. Golden goes way too important to lose right here, so. We go for the obvious plays. And I hope I'm demonstrating the strength of this team, even though the first round was kind of like meme-y. The team is very powerful. Alright, so I will have to Psychic that slot. I do think it's probably more important for me just to get rid of this Arcanine slot and just go for another Dazzle. Because I'm not super scared of Golden Go. I know that sounds crazy, and I should be, but I have Roaring Moon in the back for when Trick Room ends, and his Roaring Moon does not have, his or her Roaring Moon does not have the booster energy anymore, so I'm going to be guaranteed faster than the Roaring Moon, so. And we take it out anyways. Perfect. Iron Hands is guaranteed to stay on the field after this too, so. Because there's nothing Golden Go can do to effectively, like, shut down Iron Hands, so. I'm not super scared. And he pretty much just weakens himself. I won't send out my Roaring Moon until Trick Room is pretty much done. So even if Enamorous at this point is dead weight, by them just Protect spamming or anything involving that, there's really no reason for me to like overthink my Enamorous. So because my Iron Hands is at -2 now, depending on how many, I think there's 2 turns left of Trick Room, right? Yeah, there's 2. I mean, I think you're banded. It all depends on what he's got in the back, right? Could be a Foo. Yeah, I don't necessarily need attack power. I don't need the attack power. No. Iron Hands is so powerful. The only reason Earth Power would be bad at all is if he has Thundurus in the back. But even if it is Thundurus, I'm going to keep my Enamorous in and switch into Roaring Moon on this play while going for Earth Power into Golden Go. Okay, yeah, we're fine. Sweet. Yep. Reason I'm doing this is because Iron Hands is at -2. I can give myself a Fake Out in a following turn, so it's nice just to be able to do that. Golden Go for sure dies. So we are good. Look at that beautiful hit. Him and his little tooth. He could be Sash. It's a very big possibility. But there's legitimately no reason for me to not just go for this, so. Like, even if he predicts and Spiky Shields and I take damage, it's like, Oh no. But I run normal Ogerpon myself. I know what it can do. I'm not scared of it being able to 1v3 because it's a very glass cannon type Pokemon where it can only really knock out one Pokemon at a time. So man, they made it to where like that's a pretty bulky version of it. Oh no. Let's see if it kills. Whoa, it did. Oh. I wanted to see if it killed without it. I don't think it would, though. Goodbye. You have fallen. Good job, my little weird turtle cloud. And like I said, as you can see, the team is very much revolved around that idea of Trick Room, but you also don't have to do the Trick Room idea. The only thing that I'm kind of scared of is like Amoonguss does solve my Dozo answer, but it's like the only thing Amoonguss doesn't do is stop size spam. So I kind of need something that can learn Haze and or Clear Smog. It can kind of be a good answer into size spam. So that is something that I'm having to consider. There are a few Pokemon that I've been kind of thinking about. One being Alolan Muck. So that's definitely an option for me. But this is kind of what I wanted to like showcase and be able to explain with my team. So as you can see, their team, the slowest Pokemon on their team is base 60 speed, which is the Sylveon. Now, that guarantees, because I have a quiet nature on my base 46 speed in Amorous, that it's going to be the slowest thing in Trick Room. So like that is pretty much what drives me to go, okay, Trick Room is going to be really solid for me here, so I should just lead with it. And then kind of how I decide my last pick is based on this. If there was a Dozo, I would pick my Amoonguss, sorry. If there was a lot more of like a heavy water type pressure, like if I see that my grass type can do a little bit more into the back line, then I go with Majora, which is my Ogerpon. And then if I see the grass type, as we see the level 50 Ogerpon, I don't know why I said the level, everybody's on level 50, but I kind of just see that my Roaring Moon will most likely be a little bit more beneficial in the back line, specifically because there's an Ogerpon, an Urshifu, and it's meant for a late game sweep, so I'm most likely going to be using my Terra in the Trick Room, and I just kind of need to consider who's going to be better inside or outside of Terra. And if it's a Choice Scarfed Urshifu, then my buddy Roaring Moon will be best. So I really don't want the screens to go up. So what I'll do is, oh, but he's got Sleep Powder. Yeah, I don't care about screens as much as I care about Sleep Powder. That's for sure. So. Okay. There we go. And then normally I would Heavy Slam the Ninetales here for screens. But like I said, I don't want, like, the big thing in Trick Room, you really need to make sure you're taking advantage of every turn you have. So you really don't want to be able to lose to something like Sleep. So even though screens might go up here, I'm going to apply enough offensive pressure to the point where I'm not going to stress about the screens, because I can pretty much guarantee get rid of Ninetales, get rid of Vivian. That's automatically 2 kills inside of the Trick Room, so we're doing pretty good. Now, what I think is this Sylveon is going to be some sort of Terra type. I could see him protecting his Ninetales. I'm not going to bait on that, though, because if he doesn't for some reason, it's just a free knockout into Ninetales. But the reason I didn't attack Sylveon is it was most likely going to Terra. Okay. And I know Sylveon can get really terrifying, but there's no reason to try to overpredict what Sylveon can do. It's more along the lines of, okay, get as many knockouts as I can, and then we figure out what to do with the last slot in the last moments. So just kind of hoping for that special defense. Oh, that is definitely spexed. Okay. It's actually good that that's spexed. And the only reason why I'm assuming it's spexed is because of how much damage it did to Farigiraf and how comfortable I am with my Farigiraf spreads. So I could definitely see him going for Protect here. And that also makes me very happy that I brought Roaring Moon. Like I said, I am positive Sylveon is spexed. So even if the Ogerpon goes for like Swords Dance here, I'm not gonna like go and try to predict that because I know Terra Flying Roaring Moon will finish it off in the end. So it's kind of unfortunate for Farigiraf lived that, to be honest, but it's okay. Oh, good. He's already used Terra, so pretty much what I'm going to do on this play is I'm just going to guarantee that the Sylveon goes down. So, well, I mean, either way, Earth Power is going to one-shot it, so it has to protect itself. If I Protect, ideally it's smart, but let's say he actually has Protect on Sylveon, and I'm just crazy, and that's just doing a whole bunch more damage. Then if I Earth Power into Sylveon, he Protects, and then kills my Enamorus with like a crit on Ivy Cudgel, that could be really bad. So I am just going to go for a normal Acrobatics into the Ogerpon slot, just to kind of solidify my win, because even with a crit, I know, one, he can't Terra, of course, and two, I know that I resist it, so even with an Adamant Nature, just by running Ogerpon so often, I know that even with a crit, I'll live, so, yep. And that should be a knockout. Ooh, that's a bulky one. Oh, duh, the screens are still up. Haha, silly me. But it's okay. I'm always going to be faster because of the booster energy. So that is a good game. And see, when I ladder with a team specifically like this, it's really not hard to get to like top 500 on the in-game ladder. Because, like I said, you don't harp on yourself for those like small losses of those really weird things you see in Best of One, where it's just like, there's literally no reason to prepare for that ever. There just isn't. Like, Enamorus Thundurus, the thing is, on Best of One ladder, where you don't know what the Enamorus is, it is so good because, like, you can keep your opponent guessing. In a Best of 3 format, where I know what your Terra type is, I know what your strategy is, oh, I can easily adjust. By, like, for instance, bringing a Moongus into my game 2 and then just Rage Powdering so that he can never set up his Enamorus, and instantaneously getting rid of it. It's pretty simple. Because, like, you can, like, Terra Flying, and then Rage Powder, and then just do massive damage into it if it doesn't Terra, and I know how squishy regular Enamorus is, so needless to say, we see a little bit of a harder matchup. Now, the reason on why I say this is because 90% of the little fishy run Terra Ghost, so my Trick Room really isn't guaranteed. So I kind of have to go over that in my head, especially in Best of One. I still think what I'm doing is I'm trying to build my team better, so I'm gonna go for my archetype a little bit more. I'm gonna play in acting like I know what it is, just so that I can get the practice in that's necessary for the reason I'm building the team, which is San Antonio. And then finally, I think Roaring Moon is still my best option. Yeah, because Roaring Moon beats the Mirror, or can beat the Mirror. It's the only reason why Roaring Moon getting so popular kind of sucks. Because it's really hard to predict the Mirror matchup. But the biggest reason, as I was saying, my booster energy is going to make it to where I'm going to be faster than a majority of everything on the field unless it's booster speed Flutter Mane, which a lot of people are starting to run, which is really smart next to Chi-Yu because it's good speed control. So I thought this would be the lead. So that I can guarantee my Trick Room to go up, I'm going to Tera Fairy. And I'm going to predict him to go for Heat Wave or possibly even Dark Pulse. I was predicting him to Tera. He didn't. But this is how I would play in a best of 3. So we're seeing if I can live this double up. It's very good information for me moving forward too, so yeah, and he just goes for the Dark Pulse like I was thinking, so. And that's even a crit. Oh my gosh. Well, I for sure get the Flutter Mane, so we're good there. Sad part is we still don't see his Tera, so if I don't get the Trick Room up, it could be a little scary. But that was the booster energy right there, so I know my Roaring Moon's going to be fastest, and I do get the Trick Room up, which means I am in a really good spot now. So, even though I can't give my Tera to Enamorus like I was wanting to, I can take advantage of the Chi-Yu's special defense drops. So, like I was saying, I can take advantage of the Chi-Yu's special defense drops. A lot of people run speed into their Iron Hands. This one might be a slower one because the rest of his team is so fast. Yep. Like I said, there's no reason for me to target the Chi-Yu right here because I want to take advantage of his special defense drops. So, sweet. Yeah. And we'll see how much the Dazzling Gleam does. Psychic's probably going to be better, but if he's Focus Sash Chi-Yu, it'll be better to get that out of the way. So, see? And that's why you take advantage of those special defense drops. I could try to take out Chi-Yu right here, but there's really no reason to. Because either way, if he runs out my Trick Room, because, like, here's the best case scenario right here, and I know this sounds weird, but both of my Pokemon die right here. Because if he waits out the Trick Room, as I was thinking he would do, his Tera Ghost, his fish, if he waits out the Trick Room, then, oh, he's Tera Fire. But as I'm saying, if he waits out the Trick Room, Roaring Moon's faster. If he doesn't wait out the Trick Room, Enamorus is faster. So, just kind of going for that dynamic is really what I wanted to strive for here. So, hopefully both of my Mons go down here. Okay. I was kind of hoping I would get the Iron Hands, but that's okay. I know that the Iron Hands is most likely Assault Vest, so he's not protecting himself from my Enamorus, so. Now the big question for me is just deciding, like, okay, am I gonna just attack with Roaring Moon and Dazzling Gleam right here, just to guarantee that I get rid of Iron Hands? But that's the hard part too, because, like, there's 2 turns left of Trick Room. I think Dazzling Gleam is the best play that I can go for, and then just going for knockoff into Chi-Yu. I know this Chi-Yu is going to do massive damage into me, but it's like, there's no reason to really predict that, because, like, let's say I protect my Roaring Moon here, then it's effectively a 2v1 with the Roaring Moon. Because if Chi-Yu just goes specifically to attack Enamorus here, I'm going to die. Unless it's Charcoal, I should live. Oh yeah, easily. As long as Roaring Moon doesn't get burned, we're fine. But let's see what he was holding. What was the fishy friend holding? He was holding a Snarl throat spray. How interesting. You run into the weirdest things on ladder. Brahmaluna. Well, there's really no reason for me to do anything. I should have protected, actually, because watch him be sashed. Okay. Yeah, I should have protected. Reason why I'm saying that is because I'm guaranteed faster than him outside of Trick Room, and if he was sashed, he could have just killed both of us by like running like Rock Slide or something. So always play for worst case scenario for sure. And right now, the biggest thing, like I said, that I was thinking about earlier is how Amoonguss doesn't really help me into size spam. So I do really need to think about like what my team necessarily needs to have an answer for that, because right now I effectively don't. I mean, like, yes, I know that Enamorus can do massive damage into it, but there's no reason I should just be relying heavily and solely on Enamorus to do that. Because Expanding Force is still going to be doing 75% to Enamorus, even with how bulky it is. So, again, same exact concept. His team is a majority fast. I'm guaranteed slower than him in Trick Room, so we'll be good. He does have a setup mon, but because a lot of the time it Terra steals, I don't want to rely on the Amoonguss Clear Smog, so I'm actually not going to really stress about that. The thing I'm going to be looking at right here is who effectively is going to be the best into the late game scenario. A lot of the time on teams like this, you have to realize that the bulkiest Pokemon are most likely going to be the ones that are going to be, like, last. So for instance, the mons that you need to be thinking about are going to be those top 4, because those bottom 2 really aren't going to be that threatening as, like, they can be if you don't break Chien-Pao Sash. But late game, it's most likely going to be either Milotic or Rillaboom. With that thought process, I want to think of who is he more likely to bring. I would be bringing my Rillaboom, because I would actually bring Milotic. I'm going to go Roaring Moon again, just because naturally without the Terra, I'm going to outspeed things. And I know it's very much bringing the same 4 to like almost every match, but this team is kind of built that way. That's why those last, like, Ogerpon is phenomenal. I love Ogerpon so much, but that last other slot really has to be for specific scenarios like Size Spam and Dozo. So we see Fluttermane Chien-Pao. Now, I could Terra, but I definitely think it's a lot safer to just go for the Fake Out into Chien-Pao and Trick Room. The reason on why I don't want a Terra here is because 90% of Chien-Pao are not running a Dark-type move that is not Sucker Punch. And if it is, I'm max defense bulk, so he'd be taking a really big gamble leaving his Fluttermane to die by my Iron Hand. So yeah, it's a good move on their part, to be real, because like you don't want to overpredict this. Like, you just don't. You know, in all honesty, on this play, I know it might seem to be like a preemptive Terra, but going for just the, you know, I don't necessarily need a Terra. No, because if both of them die, I legitimately, and both of them are not dying here, because even if you're Life Orbed, you're not one-shotting for a Graph. I'm max HP, max defense. He'd have to be Adamant Life Orb, and it'd have to be like Crunch or Lash Out. Yep. Even with this, unless you protected your Fluttermane, Fluttermane will go down. So, I'm not super scared. Yep. And he can't E-Speed me, so Heavy Slam is still a very safe option. And and then I just go for Psychic into his Arcanine. The only thing that is a little bit unfortunate for me in this scenario is the fact that I'm not going to be able to really take initiative of these Trick Room turns as much as I'm wanting to, just because of that read. So he's playing really well. This is a very good balanced team. But yeah, there's no reason to predict. I'm actually hoping he takes out my Iron Hands here, so... Ooh. As I thought properly. And I know that they don't have any sashes in the back, so once my Trick Room's over, Roaring Moon is pretty free to do his sweepy thing. The only thing that would suck is if he doesn't kill... Ooh. That's a little scary. You know, I might have to... I think I am just going to hard swap. How many turns do I have left of Trick Room, though? I have 2. Ugh. I'm going to Wild Charge into Arcanine, because like I'm saying, I need Iron Hands to die. Perfect. I thought so. I think the Rillaboom is vested, so... That's big. He's doing really well. He's doing really well, my opponent is. But the funny thing is now, Iron Hands is actually a really solid Pokemon right here. So, I don't necessarily need to predict anything big, because, in all honesty, Roaring Moon is just going to be so good in this backline, so I'm just going to go for the Drain Punch into Rillaboom and Dazzling Gleam. Yeah, that's fine. I didn't need to overpredict anything, so I'm not super worried about it. Oh, that did beautiful damage. And Rillaboom really is not that big of a threat because both of my Mons resist him. And a majority of the time, the Assault Vest Rillabooms are carrying high horsepower. So I do not need to stress about getting rid of the Rillaboom. I need to get rid of this other slot. Because the biggest things that this other, like, the Rillaboom can have are going to be, most likely, this is his moveset, is Fake Out, U-Turn, Grassy Glide, and Wood Hammer. Or, Fake Out, Grassy Glide, High Horsepower, and U-Turn. So, the worst case scenario is that he goes for U-Turn and goes into Chien-Pao. But here's the bad thing for him. If he does that, the problem is he will die immediately to the Dazzling. So, and this is why you save Terra. Very glad I did, because there really wouldn't have been anything for Farigiraf to do. He just goes for the Glide. But as I said, wasn't a big threat. This is why you run Terra Flying Acro. Because no matter how bulky that Flutter Mane is, 90% of the time it's a guaranteed kill. So, and this should be a knockout. Wow. Assault Vest Rillaboom really does take some hits pretty well. But, I mean, even if you Grassy Glide and Sucker Punch into my Roaring Moon, you still have to live a Dazzling Gleam, which, no matter... like, I mean, if you were Terra Steel, maybe, but Enamorus hits so hard. I don't see... Like, I mean, I guess if somehow Rillaboom could, like, live... Yeah, I still don't think that would be a possibility, so... He just goes for the Crash, getting rid of Enamorus. That's why I like the Breaking Swipe as well. It gives you so many options into stuff like, oh, okay, well, you know, if you have to do something like I just did. So hit both Pokemon and be able to lower their stat. So even if you're defensive bulky, you're still going down. So that's why I like the Terraflying Acrobatics. A lot of people like the Poison Tailwind. I think it's phenomenal as long as your team is accented by it. If your team does not have an answer for it, though, there's no reason on why you should run it. Like, absolutely no reason. So. Alright. That was a good win. We're going to go one more. Really testing, but as I've been in battles, yeah, the biggest thing that I'm realizing is that kind of that thought process of, like I was saying, I don't really have a good answer into size spam, and I want to be able to like make sure that whatever that Amoonguss slot is a very good answer into the size spam. So whoa. Oh, this is kind of a cool team. I'm not going to rely on Trick Room on this one because, as you see, there is a Gastrodon, and Gastrodon is a lot slower than Enamorus, so I don't necessarily need to rely on the Trick Room part of things. So I will actually just be going most likely Majora Roaring Moon, trying to like give myself a reason to not lead that, because I would like one form of offense in the back. I think Medusa's enough. I think if I can bring down a lot of their defenses, I can really just come in with Enamorus and really kind of threaten. But I actually think the better Pokemon to bring in late game will be Farigiraf. Yeah, it's Farigiraf. Because if I'm getting threatened by a Choice Banded Dragonite, my Farigiraf is going to shut that down. I can also utilize that as a support type Mon, and in all honesty, Psychic's going to do enough damage into Gastrodon that if I'm super worried about it, I should be fine to be able to outbeat it. So, outpace it, I should say. Okay. Glimmora floats in the air with its balloon. I do think going for Breaking Swipe and Terra Stomping might be my best play, so that I can kind of catch him off guard. It doesn't look like he Terra'd, because Iron Moth is incredibly fast, so it would most likely go before me. The only thing that sucks is I'm most likely going to be losing my Ogerpon. I should have probably just double protected, but I wanted to catch him off guard. Double protect was most likely the best play, though. Well, I do get rid of Iron Moth here, but I might not get rid of Glimmora. Ooh, those spikes are going to be a problem. Cool. And see, my team still has a fast mode. Oh, see, and that's where the read goes right. He thought I'd Terra Flying. That was actually a pretty good read on his end, but yeah, no, I had no reason to. I mean, I guess he threatens with Trick Room, but here's the funny part. I have Taunt on my Ogerpon. The only other not funny part, though, is that if I don't... I mean, I've got a slow core in the back. I'm just going to get your Farigiraf out of the way. I probably should have taunted, but it's okay. It's a fairy! Because I'm running a Brave Iron Hand, so I'm going to be slower than the Farigiraf, most likely. Yep. I should have just taunted, but it's okay. Ooh, that thing is not bulky. I might be able to get it. I might get it from here. Let's see. Perfect. That's why you invest a whole bunch of bulk into your Farigiraf, folks. You want those Trick Rooms to be guaranteed. His eyes are closed. Is it because he's scared? Yeah. Sad for them. But, you know. He tried to make a good read. I think it was actually a pretty decent read, like thinking that I'd go for Terra flying there, to be honest. So. Alright. Get to top 1,000, and then we'll be fine. But that last battle really wasn't... I guess it does showcase my fast mode as well, which is pretty cool with this squad, so... Please leave a comment, share this with your friends. If you are wanting me to leave a rental code for the team, I would love to once San Antonio is kind of done. So, yeah. Again, you need to think about, like, if you set the Trick Room where the negatives are, and as you can see, there is an Amoonguss there, so really needing to respect that slot is something that, you know, you really want to make sure of. But because of Amoonguss, my Enamorus is actually really good because of Effect Spore, oh my gosh, Overcoat. Makes me immune to Spore, so. The special attacking duo does worry me a little. I actually kind of like going with, like, Roaring and my Amoonguss to kind of lead. I like Enamorus, and I like Iron Hands a lot too, so that's what we're going to go for. I'm not going to go to set up my Trick Room. There's not too much priority that I'm super scared about. It's more that I'm more scared of the Chi-Yu kind of Flutter Mane start. So, and this is actually something I need to be building for, like, now that I'm realizing it. That's where that Ting Lu comes in pretty handy. Alright. So they didn't get any speed heightened or anything. Which makes me think one of them is sashed. I think the Terraflying Acro is actually a very safe play. I might just go into Chi-Yu with that, though. Well, this all is for learning anyways. Let's see how much I do. I'm pretty sure a defensive bulky one would live. Did I call this correctly? Ooh. Okay. Okay. Do I snipe the goldfish? He might be the sashed Mon, though. Let's see. Oh, he's not even sashed, and he just lives. Amoonguss, you're amazing! Oh my gosh, there's no way. That's so awesome. I mean, I'm just gonna predict him to... No. There's literally no reason to do that. I'm just gonna knock you off, and I'm gonna switch into Enamorus here. Because he hasn't Terra'd is the reason I'm switching into Enamorus. I would immediately switch in Iron Hands if I had known the Terra and the Kingambit couldn't Terra. But because there's threat of Flutter Mane in the back, and he still has Terra with the Kingambit slot, I don't want to bring in Iron Hands and make him effectively useless. So, with Enamorus, the positives are, even with him having a Terra, I effectively can just go for a Moonblast immediately into that slot. Like, not worried at all, so... Was he Specs? Let's see. He was Scarfed. Oh. I was like, because Specs would have killed my Amoonguss, I would have thought. So, I was right. There's legitimately no reason for me not to just hardcore hit that Flutter Mane. Because I guarantee there's a Terra type that Amoonguss could go into here. And I don't want to hit into it. And I'm completely immune to the Amoonguss with my, oh my gosh, I am just having the hard time with thinking with my Enamorus. And I should live one Choice Specs Moonblast. So, I am not, like, a squishy Pokemon by any means. Even if you are Spexed. This actually makes me feel really good, because now I can hit it with Fake Out, and seeing that damage shows me that it's Spexed. I'm gonna go for... It's locked into Dazzling Gleam, right? Does Amoonguss live one? Oh, we're trying something here. Okay, he does just go for the Rage Powder. Okay, okay. Oh. Amoonguss. Kind of goofing on this kid. I almost think it's better for me just to try to Spore. I'm going to try to Pollen Puff myself and just go for Acro into this slot. Well, okay. Yeah, there's no reason I should be scared of that, actually. We're going to see. Does I one-shot? Is he faster? I should have protected. Shoot. Oh no. He was faster. Of course he was. Dang. That's okay. Not very many people run Timid Flutter anymore. So I would 100% take a Game 1 L to that though. Because that would give me such good knowledge. Dude, if I called that right, yeah. Like, even if I do call this right, though, what, I one-shot the Kingambit so that he can bring in his Flutter Mane right afterwards? No. We don't play like that. I'm only going to get one turn of sleep, so he better be ready for it. I don't even know if I would have one-shot. I might have. I guarantee stay asleep this turn. Super wake up. Oh. Shoot. That matters. No, it really doesn't. He literally can just one-shot Moonblast me. Yeah, that's easily the smartest play you can go for. Dude, the Chi-Yu Flutter matchup is actually just, like, really scary for me. So that's something I should definitely consider. Chi-Yu Flutter, a little bit scary. So definitely want to be able to prepare for that matchup. If I knew that it was Spexed, though, like Flutter, a majority of the time I'm just going to leave my Ogerpon and just go to kill it. But the problem is because if he your opponent predicts that properly, um, they can still just one-shot Ogerpon and really do serious damage into Roaring Moon, especially if I led like that. So that is something I do really need to consider. Because being weak to that kind of a matchup is really... Because that's a very common and very solid matchup, and being weak to that matchup is not good. It really isn't. So, I guess for me, it's time to start really thinking about what Pokemon can beat that matchup, and then just kind of going from there. Of course, this individual can, of course, but they don't solve my Dozo problem. It's going to take some thinking. It really is. Because, I mean, this Pokemon right here needs to be able to, and I know I'm asking a lot, but it needs to be able to effectively shut down some special attackers and be able to stop Dozo. It's a hard role to fulfill. Shutting down special attackers and effectively stopping Dozo. My own Dozo. Plot twist. You know, that actually could be a really solid answer into that now that I'm thinking about it. Because, like, let's say I unregister you, and I put you on this team. Now, the big thing that I'm seeing here is I have a water type that's fairly bulky that can really answer into the Indeedee Armarouge type stuff. He can effectively just yawn things out and really pressure it that way. If they set Trick Room, he's incredibly slow, so the Trick Room really wouldn't be good for, you know, them in that moment. I guess, like, he doesn't effectively just shut them down, though. Like, he would effectively stay on the field, but my other teammates would then become the issue. How are they going to stay alive? So, it's still a thought. I think that's actually a really solid thought. You, my friend, are very interesting, actually. Gets access to Toxic. Huh. But super effective, like very super effective to him. So, it's a tough call. The Eye of Sauron. Weezing is also a very solid answer into it. I will have to ponder this for a little while, though. Because, like, we effectively won a Mon. You know what I could do? Because Chien-Pao is so solid into, that could actually give me a really good option. Because Chien-Pao is so solid into Chi-Yu Flutter, it's actually one of those Mons where it's like, yeah. We could give him Ice Spinner, Sucker Punch, Haze, and Protect. That could actually be really solid. Huh. We'll have to try that in the next video. I hope you guys have had a wonderful day, though, and thank you so much for watching. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and tell your friends about this. I really would like to very much keep this consistent, so all the support is greatly appreciated. I appreciate you all. Continue to live large and have a great rest of the day. Peace.